Hello students, this is Sister Day and I hope you're having a great day. I just want to go over the objective of this video. Today we're going to solve a linear expression and put it into the slope-intercept form of a line, and then we're going to graph it. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, let's talk about what is the slope-intercept form of a line. Well, the slope-intercept form of a line just has the form where you have y, a variable, equal to mx plus b. And m, let's go ahead and put here, m represents the slope of the line. M is a coefficient for the variable x, so it's a number in front of the variable x, and it tells us several things. It tells us the direction that this straight line is going, and it tells us how steep it is. Now, the b is called the y-intercept. This b tells us where the line, this straight line, crosses the y-axis. So what y-axis am I talking about? I'm talking about the Cartesian coordinate system, or the Cartesian plane. And it is a grid with the form similar to this, where you have x, your x-axis going horizontally, and your y-axis going vertically. Now, one thing I want to say through this before we get started is, I know that this is a lot to throw at you all at once, but don't worry about it. We're going to go over everything. And please go ahead and send me any questions that you have. I'm happy to go over anything again, or if I skip over something or do it too quickly, please let me know and I'll come back and we'll redo it, or I'll answer your question or help you out in any way. So please feel free to give me any feedback or ask any questions. So anyway, what we use this form of a line to do is to graph the line on this Cartesian plane. So let's just go ahead. We're just going to jump in and try an example, okay? So let's try the simple line of 4y minus 3x equals 8. We know this is a linear equation because, meaning a straight line, because the y and the x don't have exponents, or they actually do. Their exponents are both 1, okay? But we don't usually show those. When it's an exponent of 1, we just leave those off. Everybody just understands that that's an exponent of 1. But they don't have any higher exponents like a 2 or a 3. Also, x and y aren't being divided or multiplied anywhere, because that would not be a linear equation. Oh, let's get rid of those. Okay, so x and y are just standalone variables, and we've just got some coefficients and we have a value on this side, but we need this to be in the form y equals, oops, that didn't work. Got a little squiggly there. Y equals mx plus b. All right, now this doesn't look like that yet. What we need to do is we need to get our y all by itself, and we need everything else to be over here on this side of the equation. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, we have to move things over. But how do we do that? We do that by doing things to both sides of the equation. Let me show you. If we have a minus 3x on this side, well, we can get rid of that on this side by adding 3x, because negative 3x plus 3x equals 0. Well, that's great. Now we don't have to worry about a negative 3x on this side anymore. But remember, anytime we do something to one side of the equation, or one side of the equal sign, we have to do the same thing to the other side in order to keep them equal. So we added 3x to this side, so we're going to add 3x to this side of the equal sign. All right, so now let's rewrite our equation. Now we have 4y equals 8 plus 3x. Let's fix that little plus sign. Okay. Well, we're getting closer, but we still have a 4 over here next to the y, and we can't have that in order to have our slope-intercept form of a line. We need y all by itself. So now we're going to divide by 4. Why do we do that? Because 4 divided by 4 equals 1, right? So now our y would just have a coefficient of 1, 1y. But in standard notation, we just let that equal y all by itself. It's just understood that there is a coefficient here of 1. But it means the same thing. 1y equals y. And that then equals the other side. But remember, we divided this entire side by 4. So we have to divide this entire side by 4 in order to keep everything equal, everything balanced. It's like a balance. You have to, if you add something to one side, you have to add it to the other. If you take off something from the other one side, you have to take it off of the other. Just like a scale, an old-time scale. So now, because there's a plus sign in the numerator, because there's addition, we have to divide each term in the numerator by 4. So let's do that. So we have 8 divided by 4 plus 3x, x divided by 4. All right. So we have y all by itself over here. Yay! We're getting really close to looking like our slope-intercept form. So we have y equals 8 divided by 4 is 2 plus, we can write this as 3/4 times x. Okay, that is really close. We've got an x with a coefficient, and we've got a b value, but they're kind of mixed up. We could use it like this, but we want it to look just like our formula. So, because of the commutative property of addition, we can move them around. So we can say that this equals 3/4 x plus 2, all equal to y. Yay! We've got our slope-intercept form of a line, where m, this is m is 3/4, and b is equal to 2. Now, we need to go ahead and graph this. So, let's turn on our coordinate system. And so we had y equals 3/4 x plus 2. Well, what do we do with that now? What we do is we plot those points. We know that this is the y-intercept. How do we know that? Because when x, these are our x values, these are our y values. When x equals 0, which is right here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the values of x. And then in this other direction, they go negative. -1, -2, -3, -4. That one kind of got squiggly, but you gotta understand. So these are the values of x going in the negative direction. These are the values of x that are positive. Same thing up here. This is 1y, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are the negative values of y. -1, negative 2, negative 3, oh, that's a 3, negative 4, and so forth. Okay? Now, we need to plot the points for which are values of x that then give us y. So if x is 0, well, let's find out. So if x is 0, we get y equals 3/4 times 0, ignore that, plus 2 would equal what? Well, 0 plus 2 is 2. That's why the b value is called the y-intercept, because it tells us at what value when x is 0, the line crosses the y-axis. So we're going to put a big dot right there at the 2, because when x is 0, y is 2. Now, the 3/4 is the slope. Slope is defined as rise over run. Slope equals the rise over run. That means that the numerator tells us how far we go up, and the denominator tells us how far we go horizontally. So we go from this point, we go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And we run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop, I shouldn't have had little spots there, but you get what I'm saying. So here's our other point. It is at 4, 5, where x comes first and then the y comes second. And it's 4x and 5y. Now we can use those 2 points to graph our line, but I always like to use a third point just because it makes it a little bit easier. So we can do the same thing. We can figure out another point using the slope again, but what if we go in the opposite direction? Because negative 3 over negative 4 would also give us the same slope of 3/4. So let's go down. 1, 2, 3, and horizontally in the opposite direction, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aha! Now, this point has the value of negative 4x, negative 1y. And notice, these form this line. If I can draw a straight line, pretend it's perfectly straight. And there you have it. That is the graph of that original linear equation that we showed you.